Hi, I'm Wanda with Jimmy Branch Homestead, and today I am going to be rendering down lard. So this is from a hog that we got in the early to late spring. And if you've been watching our channel, you know that we have 2 hogs at the processor right now. So I need to make room in the freezer to bring them home. So I took all the lard out of the freezer, and I have a large roasting pan I'm going to do this in so that I can pretty much do it all at once. So because I just took it out of the freezer, I have them kind of laying out here. As it starts to thaw just a little bit where I can get pieces apart, then I'm going to take it off and I'm going to go ahead and cut it up in small pieces. So I just want to, and I have a nice sharp knife. It's easier to cut if it's at least partially frozen rather than getting soft. Let me kind of bring you around the other side. Maybe you can see a little better. Maybe not. Let's try that. And I'm just, like I said, cutting it up in small pieces. It will render down much quicker. So I needed to make room in the freezer, like I said, to bring the hogs home. And I also been wanting to get this taken care of. You know, in the summertime, I kind of procrastinated because I was so busy with garden stuff. But I didn't really have time to get around to this. So now I'm kind of forced to. We have a medium-sized chest freezer outside in a shed or a garage, and just need to get it as cleared out as possible. When we got the one hog, it filled up at least 2 to 3 compartments of that. I think it has about 5. So when we get the new hogs, I'll have to put the lard in something else rather than the big chest freezer. Because I really want to keep all the meat together. And I sort it out by compartments. Okay, and I'm just throwing that in the roaster behind me. Doesn't have to be cut perfect, but I do want to get it fairly small so it melts faster. So I am using my roaster today to render down my lard since I have so much of it. I don't have a pan large enough to really put in the oven. I guess I could take this out and put it in the oven, but I really would just rather do it in the roaster so I can kind of see it and stir it as I need. So we're going to start off with just a little bit in the bottom. Just we want to basically coat the bottom so that it's not scorching and burning. So I have my roaster set to 200 degrees. And I'm just going to put the lid on and let that get started. In the meantime, I will keep cutting up more, but I just want to coat the pan well without getting it scorched first. So when you're cutting up your lard pieces, don't cut them larger than 1-inch pieces. I actually like to cut them smaller, especially in the bottom there where I want them to melt quicker and really kind of help to form that base so that it doesn't scorch. So I am taking the pork, this pork is mostly cut in strips, and then I'm cutting it into small pieces. Like I said, once that melts and I coat the bottom well, then I'll add a bunch more. But this is going to take me quite a while to get it all cut up, so I want to continue on doing that. For starting it in the bottom of your pan, you should cut the pieces pretty small. I'm cutting most of mine in about 1/2-inch pieces, but it wouldn't hurt to cut it even smaller, or even grind it up in a grinder to get it rendering down and melting much quicker in the bottom of your pan. Now you can use a slow cooker, you can use your oven, you can use cast iron on the top of your stove. Any of those methods will work. Just because I have so much, I'm using the roaster. Like I said, I have to get this freezer cleaned out as much as possible for picking up the new pigs on Friday. So I just kind of cut sideways on the strips, and then I'm cutting them again in smaller pieces. That's just the way I do it. It's quicker, it seems like, and a little bit easier. And it is much easier to cut it when it's partially frozen. It's still firm and so much easier to cut. Now this whole process of cooking down the lard is going to take several hours. And it's going to take me probably several hours to actually get this all cut up, since I'm doing so much at a time as well. You can kind of see it starting to thaw a little bit, so I can be able to cut chunks off and then just continue cutting up in small pieces. So I'm going to continue cutting this up, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so it's been cooking just a little bit now, and the fat is starting to turn more translucent. I can see that it's melting a little bit, that it's coating the bottom of the pan. So we're just going to let that continue to melt. Again, this is cut in small pieces to get this going, kind of season the pan or whatever, so that it doesn't scorch when I add the remaining fat. So we're going to just go ahead and keep that on there. I don't want to add any more to it yet. I want to get that melting so that it has some liquid in the bottom of the pan. So the fat is getting a little bit easier to pull apart. It is still, you know, pretty frozen. But like I said, as long as it's at least partially frozen and pretty firm, it's much easier to cut. So I just kind of, again, cut it in little strips. It's very firm. You want to use a good sharp knife. We just had all of our knives sharpened by a sharpener for all of our hunting and butchering knives. And whatever size you decide to do, you want to cut them pretty uniformly so that they melt pretty evenly. Again, up to an inch size, but I'm doing more like a 1/2 inch size. I have a lot of lard that's going into that roaster today, and I want it to start melting a little bit quicker than the 1-inch pieces would. That piece is pretty frozen still. So I'll just put that one aside. I work on one chunk for a while and then I put it to the side to melt a little bit more. And I just keep doing that. Just grabbing another package and so I'm just going to go ahead and continue on chopping, and I will check back with you shortly. Okay, the fat here that I had in the pan has been cooking now for a while, over half an hour, I think close to an hour, and it's really starting to break down now. You can see quite a bit of liquid in the bottom of the pan. I've stirred it up, and I'm going to go ahead and add more fat now that I have something on the bottom to help keep it from scorching. So I have another whole bowl cut up here. And if your lard starts thawing too quickly, go ahead and put it in the refrigerator and at least get it firmed up again. As I said, I keep going from package to package and taking the outer layers. I may have to get my other roaster out. We'll see. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that start melting. Put the lid back on and keep cutting. So there are basically 3 areas on the hog that you would get your lard from. The first and the best is called leaf lard, and it is located inside the hog around the organs to protect those. And it is the most pure, beautiful white lard. You can have your butcher mark it specifically. I forgot to, so all mine is just kind of mixed up. And on the hogs that I just had done, I think I forgot again. So I'll see you when we get it, but I can't remember if I requested them to do that or not. The leaf lard does not have the porky flavor that your back lard has. So that is the second area that you would get your lard, and that is along the back. It has a bit more of a porky flavor, but it's great for frying, whereas the leaf lard is great for baking, and especially great for pastries. And the third part is the belly, the pork belly. Now we always have ours made into bacon, so I will not have that. Today I'm just mixing all my leaf lard because I don't know which is just the leaf lard anyway, and I have to process all of this. And the back fat all together just to get it processed. It's rather warm in here today, so it is melting pretty fast. Thawing. And like I said, if it starts thawing too fast, I will stick it back in the refrigerator and take it out as I work it. wanted to show you kind of the difference here. This is back fat. It's cut more in strips, a couple inches wide usually, different thicknesses, but you can definitely tell it is smoother, and it is the back fat. This, I believe, is the leaf lard. It is thicker, it is more bubbly, and typically not in as long of pieces. Again, I'm rendering all mine together just because of lack of time. I need to get all of this rendered down and out of the freezer so we have room for the new hogs. Okay, so I finally got it all cut up. It took me about 2 hours, and I keep stirring it up so that all the first stuff doesn't stay on the bottom, so it's mixed in on the top and stuff. I don't want it to scorch or to burn, you know, to overcook the stuff that was on the bottom. So this is my 18-quart roaster, and you can see 8 packages filled it pretty close to the top, but I still have room to stir in there. And now it's just hurry up and wait. I just need to let it do its thing and cook down. So I'm going to turn it up slightly to maybe 225 to kind of get it going a little bit faster. Again, you don't want to turn it up very much. You need to cook it pretty much low and slow. And I will have to keep stirring it. So get the lid put back on there and let it do its thing. Okay, my lard has been cooking for about 5 hours now, and I have quite a bit of liquid built up here. So I have a funnel with cheesecloth doubled over like 4 times to strain this. Let's see how it goes here. Hopefully you can. And that will just take all the impurities out. And I'm not going to put the lids on right away because I think that's what happens when that causes, some people say they have mildewing in their jars, and I think it might be that condensation built up from the hot oil. So I'm going to let that completely cool, and then I will cap it. Now mine's not looking completely clear because I don't have just the leaf lard in here. Okay, I have pulled off 7 pints of lard so far. That took a lot of that juice out of there. And so now we will stir it up and continue to cook it down. Remember, that was pretty full. Now it's down to about half. Okay. We're going to go ahead and let that keep cooking, and then we'll take some more off. So I was up until late last night and finally turned it off because I couldn't stay awake and I was afraid to leave it on. If I would have kept cooking this down, these would have been nice and crispy. Cracklings. They had already started browning, but I am just going to discard this, and then I will show you what I ended up with. So I ended up with 14 pints and 2 1.5 pints. So I'm very excited about that. Look how beautiful white that is. And I will just put a lid and ring on it, and it needs to be stored somewhere cool and dark. I'm so excited to be having this and no longer have to buy all the oils that have all those additives that aren't good for you. So if you're enjoying this type of video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share our videos on your social media. It's the best way you can help our channel to grow. Thank you so much for watching Jimmy Branch Homestead. Take care and God bless.